Why is Big Ben falling silent? For more than 150 years, its four huge faces had gazed across London, watching over 5 monarchs, 23 prime ministers and 2 world wars. The giant bell known as Big Ben even rang throughout the Blitz, a defiant toll of normality that bolstered flagging spirits as German bombs rained down. But next year, the clock tower will fall silent for several months as one of the biggest refurbishment projects in its history swings into action. This won't be the first time the clock has stopped. It was silenced for 9 months in August 1976 when metal fatigue in the supporting structure caused one of the clock's weights to fall out of control, causing the first and only breakdown in its history. And, in 2007, it was out of action for 7 weeks during planned maintenance. But the £29 million facelift that begins early in 2017 will provide the best opportunity yet to ensure that the clock can continue ticking for at least another 150 years. Engineered by lawyer and amateur horologist Sir Edward Beckett Denison, the clock at Elizabeth Tower, which is located at the north end of the Houses of Parliament, represented a fundamental breakthrough in clock design. Built in 1859, it was, says Ian Westworth, the dedicated team of clockmakers at the Houses of Parliament, the Prince of Timekeepers, the biggest, most accurate 4-faced striking and chime-in clock in the world. At the clock's heart is an innovation hailed as one of the most significant horological advances of the 19th century, the double 3-legged gravity escapement. An escapement is the device in a mechanical clock that transfers energy to its timekeeping element. It's driven by force from a coiled spring or weight that is transmitted through the clock's gear train. Each swing of the pendulum releases a tooth of the escapement's gear wheel, allowing the gear train to advance by a fixed amount. The sound of the next tooth catching is what generates the ticking. Tower clocks present a particular challenge to escapements as the large hands frequently have to work against the wind. Before the construction of Big Ben, there was no perfect method of stopping these external influences from being fed back through the mechanism and affecting a clock's accuracy. Over the years, clock makers tried hundreds of different solutions to this problem. But the escapement of the Westminster clock, which uses an ingenious arrangement of weighted gravity arms to isolate the pendulum from the outside world, is by far the most effective. Now, 150 years on and with the clock rarely more than a second out of step with real time, Denison's innovation has more than proved itself. It was the first of its kind, and over the next 20, 30, 40 years, clockmakers began to incorporate the double 3-legged gravity escapement into their clocks, says Cambridge University engineer Hugh Hunt, who looks after a similar clock at the university's Trinity College. By the time you got to the turn of the century, there were thousands of these clocks all over the UK. In every church tower and every town hall. Another key innovation is the huge 4.5 meters long pendulum, which was designed to ensure that the clock is unaffected by changes in temperature. In ordinary pendulums, the pendulum rod will expand and contract depending on the temperature. This leads to changes in the duration, or period, of the swing and causes inaccuracies in timekeeping. Instead, Big Ben uses a novel temperature compensating pendulum, made from concentric tubes of zinc and steel. These two metals expand and contract at different rates and, because of the way they are connected, ensure that the pendulum length remains constant whatever the temperature. But the clock's continued accuracy owes as much to its maintenance specialists as it does to its inventor.